Hello, and welcome to the We Should Move Here Travels podcast. My name is Brittany,
I'm Josh.
and we are your hosts. Today, we are going to be talking about how traveling has changed us because I think we've changed a lot as individuals and as a couple. So, we'll be talking about all of the changes.
Yeah, or at least the ones that we can identify at the moment
Yeah.
and
The,
fit into this episode.
yeah, the ones that we've thought of.
Mhm.
There's so much about travel that has changed us, so we can't hit everything.
Like our taste buds. It's a food podcast. It's changed our taste buds as people.
It has, yeah. No, like for real, it has. We've tried a lot of really different things
Mhm.
that we probably would have never tried before, like artery.
Yeah, like artery.
That was interesting.
That was.
Probably our most interesting one. Either that or pufferfish.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Definitely looking a little more in depth than that, or a little deeper than surface level than that.
Yeah.
One that I had written down for us to talk about was kind of a personal change for myself, at least. I don't know if there's something that you've noticed that's changed about you. And I don't know how stupid, naive, privileged any of it sounds, but traveling has made me realize that there is so much more outside of the United States of America than most people realize who have never left the United States, let alone maybe never left their home state.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so silly to say, but that's so true. You don't realize that there's so many different lives people lead out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so much more than the US. Like, the US is so focused on being individualistic, and we're very independent people.
Mm.
We don't rely on family or friends or community as much as maybe we should.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not necessarily relying on them, but it's more of a community in other spaces.
I definitely think, depending who you are, where you live in the United States or anywhere else in the world, because obviously it depends where you go in the world. It could be very individualistic in another country, but places that we've been, Western Europe, Japan, places like that, there are a lot of tight-knit communities
Yeah.
that people are a part of, and they're a part of several different communities and groups in their lives, where we feel like we see that less in our community and maybe in the United States.
Absolutely. It is like when you go there, it's immersing yourself in their world for a couple weeks, and you're like, wow, we did not learn enough about other countries. We don't have the best education system here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know much about other countries.
Yeah.
And going there and experiencing those other countries really helps you to get outside of that selfish bubble.
Mm-hmm. It does. It hurts to say out loud as an adult, but growing up, to a certain point, I don't know when I crossed it, but at a certain point, I was like, oh my God, people all over the world do so much more than what we see or what we hear about.
Well, yeah. And it's like there's so many like scary stories out there from people really trying to like scare people not to travel outside of the US.
Mm-hmm.
And once you do, like you start hearing some of those stories and you're like, okay, well, that person was being a fucking idiot, first of all. I mean, so many countries are incredibly safe, and we only hear like really scary things, and
Right.
it's to intimidate us to not travel there because
Right.
the world is so much bigger than us.
It's like with the United States and the Middle East. The United States, more often than not, is and has been in conflicts with countries in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times, as someone a part of the United States of America, we just think of the people in the Middle East as that, someone that we're in conflict with, or the unfortunate history we have with some Middle Eastern countries. And so then we think potentially terrorists or, the Islamic State, something like that. And then we think Islam is this terrible thing, and we think the Middle East is this terrible place when it is not. That
No.
is a small group of a large country, and just like we are a small group of a large country, it does not apply to all.
No, absolutely not. And to believe that it does is racism.
I think that's the deepest point we will get to.
Traveling has also taught me that there is more than one way of life, more than one way to live your life, because people in other countries I have observed live very simple lives. And here in the US, it's very chaotic. It is normal to live a chaotic lifestyle. But I've just observed in other countries, some other countries, I don't want to group them all together, but I've observed in some of them that people live very simple lives, and it makes sense why people live longer in these countries.
It seems like less of the rat race, I believe, if I'm using that term correctly, in other countries.
Yeah, I've been trying to adopt some of that lifestyle since we've came back from particularly Ireland and Portugal. These last couple trips, I've really been trying to live more simply. And it's kind of hard to do here. It is kind of hard to do because it's set up for chaos.
It's always reaching for the next rung on the ladder. It's always the new thing, the next challenge.
Yeah, and it's it's hard.
It is. But like you said, that is not every country. There are plenty of countries with tons of challenges that we haven't been to.
Oh, absolutely.
But the ones that we have observed, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things that has definitely changed us, and I think this happens to probably quite a few people, depending on how you decide to travel, when you travel, why you travel, a bunch of different reasons. But for us, what's changed us is being more someone who explores and experiences a different country than someone who just vacations in a different country.
Which is so interesting because I don't think I've ever vacationed. Like, even when we've gone to like beach towns or whatever, we still have tons of steps. We still explore like throughout the city. Like, I think that's just us too.
Yeah. And you can be a vacationer and do all those things and still consider yourself as a vacationer and not to explore or whatever, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But just for us, being people who really never were like a beach resort or a mountain resort, ski resort, never being one of those, to definitely being like, oh, we want to experience how the people live here, experience their history, not always be in a high tourism area, is definitely something that traveling more has made it clear that we are this kind of person now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it actually, doing this more has actually opened my mind a little bit about doing a vacation in the future where we do an all-inclusive thing, because I want to check it out. I want to try it.
Yeah.
And I think it would be really fun. However, I also think, I don't know, I think it would be kind of hard for us to just stay in one space
Absolutely.
the entire time, but it could be really relaxing. So we have to try it at least once, but
My mind, maybe it's ADHD, my mind gets a little bored just thinking about it.
well, I mean, I think on resorts, like there's different places that you can go
Yeah.
to make it more fun and adventurous. It's obviously not like exploring the city. Like if we go to Mexico, for example, and we stay at an all-inclusive spot, we will use at least one night to go explore Mexico. At least.
At least. For sure.
So,
If we didn't go, if we went for multiple weeks, it would have to be half the time minimum to explore Mexico.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree with you. I think that it would be fun to do that. But even in doing that, we're talking about like we would still go out and explore.
Yeah.
And that's just something we've learned about ourselves of like what we like.
Yeah. With that, I think travel has changed how we communicate as a couple and work as a team as a couple for sure. Like I'm trying to imagine us those first year and a half, 2 years that we had before traveling. And I can't imagine what we were like beforehand.
Yeah, well, you and I have very different communication styles, and we've had to learn how to communicate with each other. And sometimes it's still difficult. But when you have two different communication styles, it's so important to give your partner grace and try and understand their communication style and what they're
Mhm.
trying to communicate to you.
Mhm.
And also apologizing, taking accountability, and learning from things when we inevitably make mistakes, because that's going to happen, especially traveling. And it's happened, God, I don't know how many times with us. We've made so many mistakes.
Every day of every travel.
Literally. Yeah. But it's going to happen in every single relationship, no matter who you are. You're going to make mistakes.
Mhm.
And you inevitably will hurt your partner in some way.
Yeah.
So I think traveling just kind of throws that in your face a little bit, and it's about how you handle it after the fact,
Yeah.
because it's going to happen. Obviously, you don't go in like with intentions of hurting your partner or with intentions of not communicating well or whatever it is, or making a mistake traveling, missing that train, whatever it is. But it's how you handle it after. And I think that's something that I've learned like deeply to my core is that like even when you make mistakes, you are never trying to hurt me. You're never intentionally hurting me. And I have to be in that mindset of, okay, like this is okay. We're going to figure this out. We always do.
Mhm.
We literally always do. And we've been in some situations that could have ended very poorly, but
Yeah.
we figured it out.
Well, like you said, and just to reiterate, like when you're traveling the way that we do, experiencing
Mhm.
different countries like we do, and some countries that have a language that you don't speak, you're going to run into a lot of situations that are very stressful.
Yeah, very.
And like you said, undoubtedly, that's going to lead to mistakes on top of both of us being stressed. Not an easy situation to navigate.
No, no, definitely not. I think I used to be much more challenging in those situations, and I've learned to be patient and give grace even to, I don't know, service workers who make a mistake or like in airports, people, I mean, it's their first fucking day on earth. So learning to have grace with people in the airport.
Yeah.
Things like that. I think it's so important.
Hmm.
And I think you've helped me a lot with that. I think traveling has helped me a lot with that, but I think you've helped me a lot with that too. Because you've always been that person to give people grace and patience, and you always try to deeply understand people
Hmm.
and their intentions.
Yeah.
So,
But you've helped me with communication because I've been a poor communicator since we've met and always working on it, which does not help in stressful situations. So, learning to be more open, to communicate more in those situations has definitely helped. So,
yeah.
that's definitely something that travel has given us is
Mhm.
better teamwork, better communication. It's a lot like what we've said 100 times and you see all over the net. If you can navigate a train system in another country,
Yeah.
you are, and like you can not kill each other as a couple or friends or family, whatever, you guys are set. You can do anything. And especially I would even add like driving on the opposite side of a road in a different
Oh my
country,
gosh.
even maybe even more so.
through the mountains and you're like on a cliff and you're on the other side of the road. Oh my God, it's the scariest fucking thing. But you do so well driving, so I'm in good hands. I'm not fucking driving though. No, but I think traveling with your partner will show you if you have different communication styles and how to approach that.
Mm.
Because it will be thrown in your face. And if it's a relationship that is meant to last, or if you both want to work on it, because you will have to.
Yeah.
If you both want to work on it, though, I think traveling helps you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no faking it.
No.
When you're both in a very stressful situation in a different country together, you're not going to fake your way through
No.
a relationship in that.
And it'll show you if your partner wants to, make it through with you.
Oh, yeah.
Like if they don't want to, you will know by the end of that trip.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
I don't mean to laugh at that, but it's true.
It is true. I was going to say, I hope we're not giving out the impression that we did any of these trips with any sort of grace in communication and teamwork.
I mean, we did. We did a lot of them with grace and communication and teamwork.
For
but
sure.
We've learned along the way.
Yeah.
Because to start, our Italy trip was rocky as hell. I think we did talk about it.
We definitely
We
did.
have totally different communication styles, and I'm crying in one corner, you're crying in the other. Like we were so upset at each other in Mandello del Lario. However, we did learn from it. We talked about it, and we came back together and just realized, like, okay, we communicate very differently. So let's figure out a way to make this work for the rest of the trip, at least. And we've slowly, I think, figured it out. Because these last couple trips have been so smooth.
Much smoother. Yeah.
So smooth. Like, we communicate well. We're patient with each other. We have so much grace. Like, I can't even think of maybe like a handful of moments.
Oh, there's always going to be moments for sure.
Yeah. But I can't really think of like those big moments
No.
that happened in Italy.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned Mandello del Lario. That is still one of the favorite stops on any of our trips we've ever taken.
Well, it's gorgeous. And also we had, like we had one of the biggest arguments we've ever had there. And
within the first like 30 minutes of being there.
Yeah. And it's hot as hell outside. Probably didn't help.
No.
But we came back together there and we talked about things there and we figured it out there. Like, you're gonna have arguments. It's gonna happen. You just gotta figure it out with your partner. I think that learning from your mistakes is super important. And that's kind of what we're talking about here. I think something that makes travel such an educational experience for people is because you will make mistakes and you're outside of your comfort zone. So you don't know everything there is to know out there. And that also gets thrown in your face because you so badly want to know. Like, when I go to these other countries, I want to know the language they're speaking. Like, I want to know how to navigate the train system, but I don't. And we have to figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, well, we have to figure out plan B. And making mistakes, I have learned through traveling, making mistakes is not bad. It is educational. It teaches you. You can learn so much about yourself based on the mistakes that you will make traveling. Whether those mistakes are about how you handle the situation, a conversation, or even how you missed a train. Notice how I keep bringing that one up. That was my fault, though. But again, like, my mistake.
We've missed more than one train or gone on the wrong train more than once.
The one I'm thinking of was bad news bears if we did not get on the right train. Anyways. But when you make those mistakes, you learn from it, you reflect on it, and you talk about it with your partner. If you're not traveling with a partner, then just learn from it, reflect on it,
Yeah.
maybe journal about it. But for me, I think it's so important to talk about it with you.
I think because of the mistakes you make while traveling, it's even more educational than a mistake that you could make when you're just at home.
Yeah.
When you're at home, you're kind of like in the comfort of your own bubble. Like you kind of you know what's going on around you for the most part. You got a good sense about you. Whereas when you make a mistake when you're traveling, kind of like our last point, you have to deal with that external stress of I'm in a new place, I might be uncomfortable, and I made this mistake. I gotta work my way through this problem to compose myself and figure out what to do next.
Yeah, it kind of teaches you that you can move on from it.
Mhm.
It's kind of like feelings, like it's not going to last forever.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
exactly.
some mistakes obviously do last forever.
Mhm.
And again, reflect on those, learn
Mhm.
from those. But the mistakes that you're doing traveling, usually those don't last forever. Those are usually like snippets in time
Mhm.
where you're kind of freaking out, oh my God, I missed a train kind of a thing.
Mhm.
Like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What's the next train? All of these things might go through your head, but you figure it out. You got this. Yeah.
Mhm.
And we're taught, at least here in the US, I think it's very common that you're taught that making mistakes is so bad. We're never taught that it can be an invaluable learning experience.
Mhm. It's so interesting because I think it's in early life for like young childhood, it's maybe more thought of as a good thing, like touching a hot stove. Definitely not good, not encouraged, but if you do it, that's a crazy mistake. You learn to never do it again.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes depending your parenting style, like, oh, jumping off the furniture, like you're going to get yourself hurt. Jump the furniture, get yourself hurt. Crazy thing you do. You learn from your mistake.
Yeah. I think as you grow and the more mistakes you make, the more those mistakes can impact others. And if it impacts others, then the other people it impacted maybe don't give you as much grace or patience as they would have if you were a baby. So I think as adults, learning this
Mhm.
is so interesting because you're right. We're taught, not to touch the hot stove by touching the hot stove.
I think all this leads to, again, things that we learned from traveling. And like we talked about in the previous episodes about solo travel,
Mhm.
is that you can do hard things.
Yeah.
And a lot of those that you learn that you can do hard things is from making mistakes and learning from them and then proceeding.
Mhm.
And then once you've proceeded, you're like, I can do hard things.
Yeah.
Because it's not always an easy path. You don't always just get to push the boulder up a mountain and then get it on the first try. No. you make a lot of mistakes along the way.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also just life, right? Like we
Yeah.
don't talk enough about the mistakes that we've made. We like to brush past them because maybe they're embarrassing, maybe they hurt people, maybe I don't really know, but we don't talk about them.
No,
And we should.
we should. I
Because
think,
again, they're educational experiences.
yeah, I think that's why I love our Italy and Mandello del Lario specifically so much. And I do try to work it into a lot of places and conversations with people because it is a fantastic story.
Well, I don't even know what got us so like worked up. I remember it was hot. I remember I didn't like the pizza that we got.
Oh my gosh, it was hot. We were hungry. We got off a train, like multiple train trip that was hard to navigate
Yeah.
to a very small town, people that didn't speak English. And then from the train station to the hotel was a walk up a hill with roller bags on cobblestones. And then it was an Airbnb, excuse me. And then It was difficult to get inside, and once we were inside, it was, like, on the 3rd or 4th floor, and it was hot in the room, and so for
Yeah.
us and for you, it was your worst nightmare.
It really was. I struggle to this day with hot rooms. But yeah, it was a lot. And at the time, we were not hikers by any means. All of that walking and then it being hot, and then the room was hot when we finally got there, and then we're hungry, and then we go for a walk to go get pizza. We get the pizza. I'm like upset at this point because of everything going on.
Mhm.
And sensory stuff is a nightmare to me sometimes.
And we got a prosciutto pizza.
And I don't like prosciutto. I learned this there.
Well, we just thought we'd wing it. We saw the only word we could read was, like, pizza on the menu, so we're like, "We'll get that."
Yeah, everything was in Italian. So
Mhm.
we were the only tourists in this city.
Mhm.
That was a rough one. But what did we do afterwards? That's what matters.
Mhm. Had one of the greatest sections of our trip for sure.
Yeah, we did. We had a great conversation. And then the rest of the time in Mandello del Lario, we just talked about things. We did this with Lake Como in the background and some delicious gelato and pizza and every Italian food you could possibly imagine. So good. I loved it there.
Yeah.
And like, it's interesting because it is one of our favorite places we've ever been, but we had one of our hardest traveling moments there.
It's gotta be top 3 for sure. For sure. And then it was on our first international trip together.
Yeah, so interesting. But I think, again, it speaks to what you do after the fact, because since then, we have both been working really hard to communicate effectively with each other. And sometimes we still make mistakes, but like, I don't know, I think we learned a lot from that.
Mhm. I think the last point that we've kind of touched on a little bit, and this is a food podcast, but it's also a podcast us talking about, potentially finding a place that we could live in the future, wherever that is in the world. And we have definitely learned, I think, a little bit more about who we are as people, as individuals in a community and a society in the world, but also in our current town, in our current city. Traveling has made us realize, oh, I am this person to my local community.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we've been going to a lot more community events and trying to be a little bit more involved in the communities that we want to be involved in.
Hmm.
Like, I think all year last year, we didn't go to one community event, and we have so many here. Like, there's concerts down at Jones Park, there's the farmers markets, there's so many things that people get together for. And we just have to keep an eye out and look at those things. And I think there's so many things that we can go and do that we just haven't immersed ourselves in.
Hmm.
Even though we live here,
Yeah.
we are a part of the community. We just haven't involved ourselves much. So we're trying to do that a little bit more.
Yeah. It's about putting the time and effort into being a member of that community,
Yeah.
of your local community, because when we are doing these trips and we want to see the like authentic side of a place we're visiting, we're putting that time and effort unknowingly into that. And we're like, oh my gosh, this community is amazing. This group of people is amazing, because we're so interested in potentially living there, even though in all likelihood, we probably won't. The majority of places that we've gone, most likely we'll never live there.
Mhm.
But we live right here currently, and we haven't put nearly that amount of effort into where we currently live.
We haven't.
Hmm.
At the end of the summer, we will be recording episodes about where we live. So,
Hopefully, we have a lot to report back on. Hopefully, we've stayed committed.
yeah, hopefully.
For it to take traveling as much as we have in this last year and then in these last 6 years now that we've been together to kind of realize that we have to put just as much effort in is something that I think is mind-blowing to me. You know, someone listening might be like, well, of course you got to put effort into it.
Yeah.
But for me, like, that just wasn't the thought.
No, it wasn't for me either. I mean, in other countries when we go and travel, it's normal to like go out there, go do the thing. And I think when you're home, at least for us, we're such like home bodies that it's so easy to stay inside and cuddle with our cats.
That's my community.
That's my community too.
That's my why.
But I mean, putting ourselves out there, going to more local events shows us that there are communities out there in our area that we would love just as much.
Mhm.
Maybe we stay in Wisconsin forever.
It's definitely what we're going towards right now because we're here.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that you maybe thought of while we were talking about these? I think we did a pretty good job of just kind of flowing into what we were thinking of going through this.
I think there's a lot of things that I learned in these past 6 years, obviously, and through travel. But I think these are some pretty big points, even though they might seem obvious to some people. When you start traveling, these things, like I said, it's just about how you handle situations and how you learn from them.
That's what traveling is. It's handling a situation.
Yeah.
How you experience it.
What about you?
There are so many ways traveling has changed me. I couldn't mention them all in a short podcast episode. We started off by joking about, food experience. That's such a big part of life and a big part of what we enjoy. That's really fun. Train travel, public transportation has been huge and something we've really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Experiencing different people, different cultures, experiencing people from a community where we're traveling to. So like other tourists, experiencing them in other countries is a whole thing you learn about yourself as well. I mean, there's so much we could talk about.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure.
After talking it out, I'm really excited to go on our next trip and, talk about our next episode and all the next things that we get to make mistakes on and experience.
Yeah, me too. All right. Next episode, we'll be talking about our top 10 tours we have ever taken. These could be food tours, which they probably will be. But they could also be the historical tours we've taken, the boat tours we've taken, things like that. Any tour we have ever taken, our top 10 overall. Look out for that next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at WSMH Travels.
You can listen to our podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. YouTube is where we have our video record version, including pictures and videos from our trips. Please continue to leave your comments and send us messages on what you liked from our trips and suggestions for our future trips. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.